Third Phase of Moon. My name's Blake Cousins, and we're live taking your calls from around the world in regards to the UFO phenomenon. The switchboard's filling up. The guest call number to call in is 347-934-0378. There's a lot of subject matter we're going to go over tonight. It's been 30 days since the Malaysian Flight 370's been missing. No sight of it on planet Earth. What's going on with this mystery? It unfolds on a daily basis. There's been statements by the former president of the United States, Bill Clinton, claiming that he wouldn't be surprised if we were invaded by aliens, and he hopes it wouldn't be like an Independence Day scenario. You know, there's also a statement I want to say, and I'm going to say it again, and basically it's going to be the last time I state this. I really don't like talking with bullies or, cyber bullies or people, haters, trolls. There's a lot of them that come out on Third Phase when you're dealing with sensitive subject matter like what we deal with right here at Third Phase of Moon, from alien abductions and controversial videos. It gets pretty thick sometimes. So this is a statement we're going to say right here at Third Phase. All videos on Third Phase of Moon, absolutely. There's been over 4 years of being on YouTube, submitting videos from around the world. I think a few have slipped through the cracks. Do we get experts about what, these videos or the UFOs visiting? Hey, we're just finding out what's going on. It comes in, it's liquid. It's a liquid story flowing all the time, and we're getting it out to the people, letting them decide. If they don't want to watch, hey, then don't watch it. But on YouTube, and we appreciate that, because after, some of these videos that are questionable and obvious hoax, people have a pretty smart mind to make up their own decisions, and once people start thinking and deciding what's fake and what's not, hey, well, then that's a healthy exercise. And I think Third Phase of Moon is one of the most biggest movements right now in regards to this phenomenon and opening up the minds. And if people aren't opening up their mind and don't want to watch, don't watch. Now we're going to go to lines and phone calls from around the world and get to the business of what people want to hear, the truth and stories from around the world, videos, photos, you name it. Area code 434. Welcome to 43.
Hello, Blake. This is Mike Hanna from Duchesne. Hey, I'm calling tonight because a lot of people have been contacting me about being abducted and being afraid to come out and talk about it. And I want to encourage them to please call in, that we all need to stand together, and we want to hear your stories, and we believe you. And like you said, we're not going to ridicule you. We need to get the stories out there, and we want to hear them. I'm specifically referring to a young man from San Diego. His name is Gabriel Castaneda. He put a video on your Facebook site today, and if you looked at it, it is pretty real looking. And I'd like to get somebody's opinion, whether it's real or not, but it sure looks real to me. And we want to encourage him to call in tonight if he will.
Certainly. So did this person that shot this, is it a video or are they still photographs?
It's a video, and it was put on your Facebook site today. And it's by Gabriel Castaneda. He posted it. And you ought to take a look at it because it's pretty awesome.
Okay, we're going to take a look into our, our Gmail account, because that's how we receive these videos from around the world. You go to Facebook, you make contact, Third Phase of Moon, Blake Cousins, and then, reach out to us. Say if you have a video that you want to submit. My best advice is just to upload it to YouTube and then send us the link via that way or via Skype. We'd love to speak with people and interview them if they have incredible, amazing video about their encounters that they've actually had. What was the name again? Let's see. I'm trying to look for it.
Gabriel.
Maybe, go ahead.
Gabriel Castaneda.
Okay. We're going to have Brent take a look at that and see if we could find that and talk about this later in the show. From Malaysian flight that's missing right now, and what was your thoughts when Bill Clinton came out and said he wouldn't be surprised if aliens are, it's a possibility that aliens could invade planet Earth? Do you think this is kind of like a beginning of a start, that maybe they're, now that a president states that maybe the people are going to start to think about this a little bit more seriously?
I absolutely believe they will, and I believe this year will be the year of disclosure. There's far too many sightings all over the planet, and far too many simple people are seeing it. And if they'll just not be afraid and to call in and to post these videos and talk to us, the president, I believe, may be right. I don't think it's going to be an Independence Day. They've been here for too long. If they were going to do something crazy and bad, it would have already happened.
Absolutely. I think the people in charge are waiting for a better day, that, it's going to be a better day for mankind, not the doom and gloom like people are saying. I think the future is bright, and humans have to be excited about what the future brings and not so negative. And, the Bilderbergs are going to kill 99% of the population. I don't think that's going to happen. Area code 424, welcome to Third Phase of Moon. Tell us where you're calling from and what's your name.
My name is Antonio Marino. Good to hear from you, Blake. I am the U.S. Chairman of the Top Secret Majority 12 Committee.
Absolutely. We had Tony Moreno on last week, and I was just holding off. The calls were coming in kind of slow, but I stayed on, and I was happy that Tony called in. And, wow, when Tony claimed to me that he is in charge of Majestic 12 and he has all the answers to UFOs and I could ask Tony Moreno any question I want, I was kind of taken off guard, to be honest, and I didn't really have the questions that I wanted to ask. And, welcome back, Tony. There's a lot of chatter that when you came out last week and said that you're ahead of the Majestic 12, and I asked you questions, and people weren't really satisfied with the answers, and I could understand it's hard, to prove to somebody that I'm the leader of Majestic 12 and I'm above the top security clearance. And we want to get back to you, Tony, the radio switchboard.
Hi, how you doing, this is Tony. I talked to you last week. This is Dr. J. I'd love to believe your story, and I really want you to be true, but, I've sent your information to what you told us, what you gave us to verify to the top document people in the world, and they're not buying it. And they're asking of you things to prove that they could verify, and everything that you've said so far does not add up. I mean, if you're the guy that holds the truth, then give us the truth. Give the people the truth. I mean, give us something that we can prove that you are who you say you are, because right now, what you're saying, anybody can do that. I can get a voice disguiser and call in and use the same story, only I'd make it better because my facts would be more accurate than yours. So tell me what separates you and makes you different and makes this real, because right now you're coming off as complete BS, and I hate to call that, brother, but, I want to believe you, but you're not showing me that you're believable at all.
Stop. All right, stop. First of all, you're a young fella who's been involved with UFOs for just a short period of time. You think that you have all these questions that you want to confront me about UFOs. You don't even have the extent or the knowledge of knowing what is going on here. You don't have a clue. If I was to tell you what was going on...
But tell me why you have the clue. Explain to me why you have the clue. Because you're older than me? If you're older than me, that would be great if you were actually who you were. But the problem is your facts don't even make sense.
I spent my entire life in the military intelligence community. Alrighty? Secondly, if I want to cloak my identity or keep a low profile or whatever clandestine, counter-covert or covert operation that I want to create on me or the subject, I have done quite a good job. What you know today is you need to thank me for everything that you know today, and that everything that everybody knows.
But see, again, you're just giving circular reasoning. Show us what we know today came from you. That's what I'm trying to say. Give us one shred of proof that what you are saying came from you.
What do you want to know?
You said MJ12 was formed in 1952. Well, documents from the National Archives, documents that you can go to Washington, D.C. yourself, say it was formed in 47. I mean, you can't deny that. But you claim it was formed 5 years after they claimed it was formed. I mean, who am I going to believe? Some random caller who calls and says it was 5 years later, or the National Archives? Obviously, I'm going to go with the National Archives.
Dr. J, I know that, welcome to the show, Dr. J. Basically, Tony Moreno came out and started stating this stuff on third phase of the moon. And, I'm not the one to judge people. Like I stated in the first part of the program, it's a place for people to share information. And, but I do recall that you said you had some correspondence, that there was a question or two that maybe we could ask, or you could ask Tony Moreno, and if you could answer, that somebody would be a little bit more inclined about what he's saying here. Do you have that question, Dr. J?
I do. There's actually two questions. One of them is going to require you to go off air and do this. But one, they want a curriculum veto from you. This is coming from the real UFO community, and the two world's top document authenticators in the world. So what they're saying, three separate questions. I'm telling you, I'm getting you. These are the questions that are written from people from MUFON for you. One. I'm telling you what they want to prove who you are. The first thing they want is a CV. They want a curriculum veto detailing throughout your life where you were that we can verify. Okay, you claim you were in military intelligence. Well, show us that in 1957 you were where you say you were. That's one. Two, they say you got these documents. These people can take these documents and test them. They'll take a tiny pinhole of the ink, and they will match it with the Library of Inks in the Library of Congress and prove it. That's the second thing they asked us to say. The third thing they said is tell us something about MJ12 that you know yourself. Name some names that we can verify, that we can go back and do some digging and match A to B. Tell us what B is, because if we know A and we know C, tell us. Those are the three requests that I received. He doesn't want his name known until he knows you're more real than he is, because at this point you're just one of the 10,000 people that contacts him with documents all the time. So these are the three things that were directly sent from one of the highest ranking members of MUFON with respect to document authentication. These are the three requests. One, CV from you detailing where you were so we could verify that. Two, give us a piece of information that we don't know but we're able to verify. And three, if you have documents, show us these documents or give us at least a portion of them that we can physically have analyzed and tested with compared to other documents that are real. Those are the three things that were said, Blake.
All right. Well, obviously, you're not interested in knowing about UFOs. You're interested in trying to prove credentials. Well, I'm going to tell you something about credentials. You see, in the military, we don't pass around credentials. Everything is done verbally. Well,
that's not true. President Eisenhower was briefed with papers. President Eisenhower was briefed.
I'm not going to get into details of who I am. You're lucky to have me here. They're lucky to have me here. But if you're going to ask questions about UFOs, you want to know about UFOs, ask about UFOs. Don't ask about people.
Okay, tell us how many races have visited Earth, and when was the first time they came?
People do not have, what's that?
Tell us how many races are visiting Earth, and when was the first time they came?
I have several species that have been visiting this Earth for over 10,000 years. Alrighty, and I have different ships and everything to prove that, and I have different bodies to prove that. I have everything in the palm of my hand.
Can you send a video to Blake Cousins of a body?
I have everything that is needed. Now, you're telling me, you're asking me a question about how long UFOs been on this planet. I'm telling you that they've been on this planet for over 10,000 years, and that they're the ones responsible. One specific one is responsible for changing our genetic appearance by splicing through cells.
See, this is where I was saying I could make a little better story than you. Let me tell you why. You're correct about the 10,000 years with some of them, but some of them have been here a lot longer, such as the Anunnaki. Documents show have been here since 250,000 years ago, and maybe even longer, maybe killed off the dinosaurs 100 million years ago.
Well, what I'm thinking is you pretty much nailed it on the head there, Dr. J, is, Tony, if you're in charge, get us a body, get us a alien, smuggle him here, do whatever. We'll fly over there. We'll have the camera crews. We have access to material scientists, biological scientists that would definitely study this. Who would deny it? There's the only time I recall was this crazy Fox video of the alien autopsy. Well, that was one of the biggest fakes out there that people were pretty much saw right off the bat. They knew it wasn't real, But, Tony, if you have a real body, they'll know what's real. People know what's real or not. People aren't dumb. Why can't you just get us the body?
Listen, obviously you're more concerned with physical evidence. You're not concerned about what they're doing, where they're from, how long they've been here, what they're doing to us, and what's going on here, to give you an explanation as to why you are asking all these questions. You're asking all these questions. If I was to ask you, you talk about the Anunnakis, I want you to tell me where they came from. I know where they came from. I know the origin of this planet. I know how everything evolved because of my involvement with them. Do you understand? This is not a nice thing to be talking about. You can't handle the truth, son. None of you guys can.
The statements, it could be possible. It's bigger than us all. The consequences of the alien race and visiting Earth, and maybe you're right. Maybe we can't handle the truth, but we want to find out the truth. And, stand by, Tony. It's just the lines are getting built up. We're going to take callers from around the world. Let's go to area code 310, Los Angeles. Welcome to Third Phase. Area code 734. Welcome to Third Phase. Incredible show. Tell us your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
You're live, Third Phase Moon. Welcome.
Okay. Hi, this is Amanda. I'm from Ann Arbor. And
go ahead, Amanda. What's up? Welcome to Third Phase.
Thank you. That
so what do you think of
scaring me before?
Yeah, let's get into your story, but what do you think of the conversation so far that you heard? Any statements or comments on it? And then go ahead and share your story and why you're calling into Third Phase.
Okay. Well, I just tuned in about 5 minutes ago, and I didn't hear the beginning of what was going on, but that was kind of weird. I don't know what that guy was talking about. He seemed a little weird.
Tony Moreno claims he's the head of Majestic 12. Have you ever heard of Majestic 12?
I haven't, but I don't know too much. I'm just getting into
Majestic 12, apparently he's in charge of everything that is anything in UFO matters, and he's in charge of that, and whether he's in charge if he wants to release it to the public or not, and he says we can't handle the truth as a public. Are you ready, Amanda?
I can handle the truth, I think.
Amen for that. Hey, tell us why you're calling in, Amanda. Go ahead.
Okay. On Sunday night, March 30th, I was in Novi, Michigan, and I was getting into my car. Got into my car, looked up through my sunroof, and saw something odd, and realized that it wasn't an airplane. So then I realized that it was something really interesting. So I got my camera, which I happen to have next to me, and I started videotaping it. And it kind of hovered above.
You sent me this video a couple days back, correct?
I did, yep.
And do I have permission to share it to the world via Third Phase of Moon on YouTube?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I looked at the video, and it was interesting what you captured, and I got to say, it was a pretty nice neighborhood. I'd have to admit, that was a really nice house. But besides that, the UFO itself was, you said you're watching it for about 10 minutes prior before you're shooting it?
Well, that video is 3 videos put together, and so the first part of the video where it's silent before I started talking on the phone, that was right in the beginning of when I saw it, probably like within 2 minutes of when I first saw it. And then I drove like 200 feet because it kind of went behind some trees, and I drove to a more open space, and then I videotaped it for the video is like 4 minutes long, but I actually was watching it for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, which these drones. There's drones out there. Everybody's the new drone age. It's basically going to change history as we know it. They're going to get smaller, and they're going to be able to do incredible things and scary things at times. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of good of drones, and that's the regulation is going to have to come out and figure out who's going to be owning these things. But these things make a lot of noise. You were outdoors taking this thing at night. Usually at night, things start to quiet down. Was this thing making any noise whatsoever?
I didn't hear any type of noise coming from it, and it was pretty silent neighborhood, and I was the only one out really, and couldn't hear a thing.
The drones, the battery power on these things, 15, 20 minutes of life on them are pretty much maxed out. And for you to come across it and pretty much have it in that time zone where it's exactly, 15 to 20 minutes of battery life on these drones, I don't see any blinking lights. It was an incredible catch. And, Amanda, I really want to thank you for sharing your video right here at Third Phase Moon and calling on the radio show. Any words to the public? What was your belief before this encounter? I know you got on the phone. Was it kind of a first response once you witness a UFO? You want to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm looking at something I can't explain?
Well, I called my friend Greg because he's the only person that I talk to about UFOs, really, because there's a lot of skepticism out there. But I believe in UFOs, and I believe in aliens, and I believe in everything like that. But I definitely like proof, So I guess what I'm saying is that my belief before I saw that was just as it is now. It was just neat to see, to actually see it. Because I see videos and stuff, but to actually see it yourself is pretty wild. And also, when the video, what I saw with my eyes looked a lot clearer, and so the video looks a little blurry and doesn't really show the full scope of what I saw with my eyes, because what I saw was more triangle. I could see it way better than what the video shows. So it was pretty cool. It was very cool.
Cool, Amanda, and appreciate you sharing it with Third Phase and the world. And people are going to have their comments on what it is. But I'm glad that you shared it. You had the courage to come on Third Phase of Moon and share your story. I know people like to criticize people about this, and a lot of them are the naysayers out there. Amanda, appreciate it. Stand by. Maybe we might get back to you and ask you a question. Let's go to another caller. Area code 702. Welcome to Third Phase. Tell us where you're calling from and what's your name.
Hey, Blake. How you doing? My name's Johnny. I'm from Las Vegas. And I actually called in last week and asked a question to Tony.
Sure,
and it was about the extraterrestrial exposure law. Now, that was actually meant to see if I could get some information because, I'm going in a direction here of trying to kind of do a little bit of research, check things out, and I think I've pretty much got a grasp of everything. But my question is this, well, it's more of a statement. You got to give us a little bit more. This is to Tony. You got to give us a little bit more. I mean, as far as like when I asked the question, well, who put it in place? Why was it put in place? Why is being exposed to aliens? Was that even an issue? Why was it an issue? Why are we threatened by it? What kind of race is threatened our race? I mean, we need some details. If you're going to open the door, give us a little rope. You got to give us a little bit more if you're going to open that door up.
Vegas, let's keep it in a sense. give him one question and have him answer it, and then we'll get back to you and see if he satisfied your answer. I know Tony's here defending himself, and I know that's not what he's wanting to do. He wants to get the information out, but, hey, when you're making statements with nothing, then that's the thing. We just had a caller in, Amanda, who shared evidence. That's what we're all about. Vegas, go ahead and ask your question to Tony.
Well, my question is, why are we what race is threatening us? The Greys? Why are they a threat to us is my question.
Okay, so why are the aliens a threat to us, Tony? Go ahead. Put some meat on the bone, Tony. Give us something.
The Greys, the original ones, were from Zeta Reticuli binary star system, which can only be seen in the southern hemisphere. Obviously, there was a war going on, and they had lost, and they came to this planet, and they got stranded here. But they had the technology to continue their existence for a short time when they came upon this evolutionary process that we were going through Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal time period. Everything stopped at Cro-Magnon, and there was a missing link, and we were trying to put the missing link together to find out where humans were linked coming in here, and we found out that it was genetic engineering. We found out that these species were doing that, and these species have been doing genetic engineering, and they're the ones who are responsible for our appearance and likeness. They're the ones that claimed that they're the God, that they're God. They are very evil species. They only need humans to breed with. You understand? They don't care about anything else. I make their medical equipment for them in exchange for technology. I have a major problem here, and they're very capable of communicating telepathically in shift changing through multiple dimensions parallel to our atmosphere to go undetected. We do have communication with them. If they do not heed to our communication, we will shoot them down. Our problem is we've had so many UFO crashes all over this country and all over the world that we have nowhere to store them or to begin to even back and engineer this technology with just a small handful of scientists working on bits and pieces of this technology. But back to the Greys, they are the evil ones. They have wreaked havoc on this planet, and they're the ones that are controlling humans' minds.
What do you say, Vegas?
That's all I wanted to know.
There you go. That's people ask their questions. It's a start. Let the haters say what they say about Third Phase Moon and the videos on there. I think people are understanding that, hey, there's a lot of videos out there, and people got to keep a close eye on them. But they know for a fact, hundreds, if not maybe 1,000, thousands of people have submitted their videos to us right here, and the world is seeing them through their social media right now, on radio, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Skype, anywhere. Third Phase Moon is getting out. People are sharing the links on their websites. I think this is the biggest radio show we've ever had so far, so I think Third Phase Moon is here to stay. Let's get to some other callers from around the world. Let's see if the caller from California is in. Area code 310. Welcome to Third Phase Moon. You there?
Hey, Blake. This is Rose from Manhattan Beach. I'd just like to say that what Bill Clinton said the other night on the Jimmy Kimmel Show was spot on. Presidents have probably known about this since before World War II. Thank you.
Well, we did a special just yesterday. Thanks for calling in all the way from Manhattan. It's an amazing statement. We asked the people on the ground of what they thought of that. And then let's ask some of the callers in of Third Phase of Moon of what they thought of Bill Clinton's statement. The phone lines are getting piled up here, but let's go to area code 734. What do you think about presidents not being allowed into Area 51? You think if any of us, could become a president, I think that's the first place we'd go, and not to be allowed there would really pretty much amaze me as a president of the United States. I'm not allowed into Area 51. What do you think they think when they're elected and they're saying no go, no entry?
Absolutely.
Phase Moon, you're live. Tell us what's your name and where you're calling from.
Is that me?
81. Yep, you're up. Welcome.
Oh wow, I just can't really believe this. I just want to say what a great job you guys are doing. This is really amazing, getting all this information out. I don't want to waste too much time, but I completely agree with what everyone's saying. It's just Area 51's this mysterious place, and no one can get in there, and obviously there's something down there. So I couldn't agree more. And
is this your first time on a Third Moon Radio?
I'm sorry, what?
Is this your first time on Third Phase Moon Radio?
Yes, this is.
Let me ask you a question. It's been 30 days. We're kind of keeping on topic for the subject matter tonight. We're trying to, and I mentioned earlier, it's a 30-day, basically, anniversary of the missing jetliner Malaysia. Inside Edition kind of spoke out and said Third Phase Moon's kind of the alternative media out there, and we mentioned that there's a possibility of maybe a dimension jump, a portal, or maybe alien involvement. What's your take on Malaysia? What's your gut feeling? What happened to that plane?
Well, my gut feeling is we're probably not going to be seeing it again. My gut feeling is we have the technology to know what happened, and if we don't know what happened, then it was most likely something out of this world and something that we can't really understand right now. So it's very interesting to try and follow.
My gut feeling is we don't know what happened to it. We just suggested it. That's what people were putting in through the chatter, and we wanted to put that theory out there. And the gut feeling is basically don't trust some of these governments out there. And, with all the technology, and they're claiming that telling the family members they're gone and they crashed and they're lost and they're never coming back without a shred of evidence. It's just making
obviously there's something mysterious going on. It doesn't seem like anyone's obviously withholding information, so it's pretty strange.
Let's go to the leader of Majestic 12 and get his opinion, and maybe he has some insight on Malaysia 370. Tony Moreno, you still there?
Yes, I am. All right. You want to know the truth? All right. We think that the plane was abducted by a spaceship. We also think that if it was flying at 20,000 feet and it climbed to 40,000 feet, and obviously the UFO may have taken it up that high to knock them out and took that plane. It disappeared. I have had cases in the Bermuda Triangle, in the Devil's Triangle, where ships and planes have disappeared for hundreds of years in that spot there, and nobody knows what's going on. We seem to think that maybe there's a vortex where time and space collapse within themselves, and they're coming in and out of these dimensions. But these phenomenons that are happening here have been going on this planet for thousands of years. If we've only had this technology for the past 120 years, 130 years. Before that, man was in his primitive stages of development. He was still riding horses and towing buggies. So all of a sudden, in the last 120 years, bam, man has superior technology. Well, he's probably wondering where man got that. Man sat around and he thought about this technology, and thus we have it today. That wasn't the case. Everything that we have today, technology we had to do with back engineering alien technology. We've had so many UFOs that crash in the United States. There's nowhere to store them. We have places.
So what do you think, Tony, are the family members safe right now, and could they possibly return like the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind? and maybe change this world. Why not make that happen, Tony?
We don't know, which in any case, we don't have a defense system to prevent this from happening. You understand? We have a lot of technology to basically match theirs at this time, but we can't defeat this one specific one that's wreaking havoc. All right? And this one specific one that is wreaking havoc are the Greys. They are the Repticulons. And they're also the branch of the Anunnakis. All these specific species here is one wreaking havoc and is one that's responsible for everything that's going on. Yes, we do have good aliens that do enter our atmosphere.
Tony, I got a question for you, right? So you're the head of Majestic 12. You've had access to people. You know we've got alien technology that is so good that we have satellites out there that can read the time off our wristwatch, right? So there's no possible way that a plane 200 feet long with 200 feet wingspan could be lost. But someone in your position would have access to those satellites, which would show the very last second of that plane, whether it was taken into a spaceship, whether it just disappeared into another dimension. So tell us exactly what happened to it, because by you speculating it, that's just the same as we are.
Okay, listen. All right, I'll give you I'll give you a geographic overview of the situation here. The plane was taken off a certain direction, right? And then it disappeared, right? And then everything was deployed to the Indian Ocean and to these oceans here to try to find the wreckage. The wreckage was never found. If the plane had went down, it would have crashed in the ocean. It would have broken up into pieces. There would still have been parts on the water that would have been seen. Obviously, this wasn't the case.
We know this. This is what the news is telling us every day. Well, I'm asking you, tell us something definitively. If you're the man who you say you are that has access to these satellites and this data, tell us exactly. Okay, where over did it disappear?
Okay, it disappeared in a vortex. We don't know if it's ever going to be seen or not. It might pop up 5 years later, maybe 10 years later. We don't know that, but it disappeared. It is not on land and it's not in the water. And it was not a terrorist act. There was nothing in that form. It just disappeared off the blimp. There is no evidence. We know that there is nothing to show us that this plane had crashed on land or water. This we know of.
This theory has been until we find that airplane. Well, basically, all our theories are correct at the moment because nobody's got the answer. So, it's interesting. What's your thought, Dr. J and Tony? You were kind of thinking on the same way, but you're not claiming you're at the head of Majestic 12 either. Dr. J?
We already know what happened to the plane.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, if you're in MJ12, then clearly you're one of the people that's not in the compartmentalized. The reason why there's MJ12 is because each of those people is tasked with a whole department, which could be thousands of people. So if you're in MJ12, clearly you have access to everything.
Are we talking about the plane or are we talking about me?
Well, obviously, if you're in MJ12 or you're in contact with MJ12, then you can tell us conclusively where exactly that plane dropped off the map, because you would have access to those spy satellites that only MJ12 uses.
Okay, so it dropped off. You know where it dropped off. You know where it disappeared, and you know it showed it on TV. You know where it was headed, or Vietnam. And it disappeared. Bam, right off the radar. It disappeared.
You're not telling us anything that we're not hearing from the news is what I'm trying to say. Tell us something that is conclusive that only you would know that because you're part of MJ12.
Plane did not crash on land or water. If it did, we would have discovered it. All right? What we have here is we have a plane with a bunch of people that just disappeared, just like that. We can't.
Mr. Hanna, what's your opinion of
we can't give an explanation.
Was given
we can't give this an explanation as to what happened but we can only share with you evidence that you've already achieved through the Bermuda Triangle and the Devil's Triangle of planes and ships disappearing. So if you can believe those places, that happened there, then you can believe that it probably happened there. What we know is that it disappeared off the radar and is not in the physical planet anymore. It is not in the dimension that we are aware of. It's not in the water. It is not on land. We already seen this. I've already seen this. It's not there. I don't know what kind of explanation that you're looking for because we don't know ourselves. All we know is that it disappeared, and all we know is that there are a lot of strange anomalies going on this planet that we can't explain. In the meantime, I've got the populace asking questions about my credentials, everything that has nothing to do with UFOs or where they're from or why they're here and what is creating this problem, that everyone has all this delusion that the population is going to be killed off or we're going to be invaded and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah of speculation when you haven't even begun to ask questions about who they are, why they're here, and what are they doing and what do they want with us. All right? I've already...
About ending the show. The show's wrapping up. You know, it's a heavy place that we might be invaded by aliens. It makes you on around the missing Malaysian flight. No trace, nothing. No answers. The families are waiting to find out, and the governments aren't telling them the truth with no facts whatsoever. Hey, Third Phase of Moon, want to share your videos, your stories. We appreciate everybody out there that submit their videos, and the best way to do it is via Skype or Facebook. Everybody be safe. Look out for each other. Be happy. My name's Blake Cousins, and we'll see everybody again next time.
By popular demand, we are pleased to announce the Third Phase of Moon album is finally featured on iTunes. With all your favorite songs and themes you hear on the top UFO channel on YouTube, Third Phase of Moon. Out of This World soundtracks composed by master artist Paul Barrett. With 12 remastered and extended cuts to enjoy. Download them now, exclusive on iTunes. Click the link in the description below. Now listen for yourself, heard by millions around the world, Paul Barrett's album, Third Phase of Moon.